I just went to Civil War, and oh my goodness, I can't believe this movie. Let me tell you why I hate it coming up next. Okay, so writer-director Alex Garland, a science fiction aficionado. He's written a lot of movies, directed a few movies. I like Ex Machina, and I love science fiction. I watched all of the major science fiction movies ever. Here comes this movie that speculates about American Civil War in the near future, extrapolates, I suppose, from present possibilities about, well, what if this nation were war-torn in maybe 5, 10, 20, 30 years. But wait, no, the plot is actually about, and the big theme of the movie, their big topic is photojournalism, the nature of photojournalism. Yep, all those commercials you saw about Civil War and one side fighting another and all that. No. This is about the nature of photojournalism. Well, as I said, that's one major theme. And so you have these two characters, Wagner Moura and Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst plays Lee Miller, a photojournalist who's famous, and up to her runs a 20-year-old youngster who wants to emulate her, thinks she's a great person. Here you have a 1 in a million young person who loves photojournalism and knows the rock stars of celebrities of photojournalism. What? Anyway, these two journalists, it turns out they're from Reuters, pick up two other journalists, including this young hotshot journalist, wannabe photojournalist, and then they go on a buddy road trip across, well, from New York through Charlottesville. They have to go around Philadelphia by way of Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. so they can interview the President of the United States, who's on his third term, played by Nick Offerman. And yet the Western forces, the secessionist forces, are winning this war big time, and they're about ready to invade Washington, D.C. Almost all of this movie are these journalists in this, I think it's a Suburban, driving from one place to the next and witnessing a bunch of sights. And I must say, as a player of the Fallout video games, experiencing a number of video games, number of other movies, and literary science fiction, I was not awed by anything in this movie, including the final battle sequences, which seem to emulate like Black Hawk Down from Ridley Scott 25 years ago. I didn't see anything new or very interesting in this movie as far as the visuals. There are a couple stunner shots, like a mass grave at one point. Jesse Plemons plays a psycho character for about 3 or 4 minutes in this movie. Okay, that was a little interesting. Other than that, it was hard to see how this movie differentiated itself better from things we've witnessed before in all media forms. Anyway, if I tell you the young journalist wants to emulate this older female Lee Miller journalist played by Dunst, what do you think is going to happen in this movie? Have you seen enough movies to know what's going to happen? There are two possibilities that are cliche, and yes, one of them does actually happen. What's going to happen here is that some clever person is going to come along, YouTube, New York Times review, something like that. I don't know who, and they're going to rationalize this movie. They're going to say it's about the cold, daring nature of journalism, photojournalism, and how it's sort of caring but uncaring, and it has to be in this war-torn environment. And I might be able to go along with that to some extent, but this movie is not just about the present, as all science fiction is, it's about the future. And I think the future speculation in this movie is completely cockamamie and makes absolutely no sense. For example, the Western forces, and we barely get anything about this world. Who's fighting, on what side, why they're fighting. This is left all blank. And you might expect some of this because it doesn't want to say, well, the red states fighting the blue states, Apple's fighting Samsung. It doesn't want to pick sides or offend anybody. Okay, I get that. However, we need more context. This is basically a contextless story. Anyway, my complaint is, we sit here, these Western forces are Texas and California. Well, in what universe is Texas and California going to have a big enough military to take on the largest military in the history of the world, the United States military? Why are these two states teaming up? How did they get to Virginia? I am so confused by everything that's happening in this movie, and there is zero context for it. There's no plausibility at all. You just have to assume what it's doing is true, or you dismiss it and say this is an artsy, abstract, ideal thing that is about photojournalism and the cold nature of journalism today and how it relates to politics today. All right, calm down. I'll calm down. But this movie did waste 2 hours of my life. Honestly, I don't see any redeeming value in it whatsoever. There are these cardboard characters, cockamamie scenario, The future speculation makes no sense from any point of view that I can understand. I mean, as I got up from my seat, two guys behind me, they said, "That's it." And yeah, I think a lot of viewers are going to feel that way. Like, what's this about? Why did it do this? Why is it so thin in every way? Now, full disclosure, I went into this movie doubting it strongly because I think this Civil War topic is absolutely absurd. It's cockamamie. It's ridiculous. It's been out for the last 2 or 3 years on the internet, and there's no sign, like, there's no loyalty to a side. Who's going to fight whom is like McDonald's versus Burger King. Like, I have no idea how a civil war could possibly erupt or how an organized military could erupt out of the whatever divisions you could see in the United States. Maybe this is speculating on like Antifa riots and the January 6th, thing in the Capitol building. Like, I just don't know where this is coming from. But I can tell you, we're not going to have a battle with the U.S. military anytime soon because they can nuke us. So I have no idea what Texas and California think they're doing in this movie and how they can even get to invade Washington, D.C. Oh, and by the way, the military depiction of this movie, where are the drones at? These are photojournalists. Why don't they have drones? Why doesn't the military have drones? I can go buy one right now at my local Walmart. Like, how in the world are these not used? Are they just jammed in this future world and you can't use drones? The military speculation in this movie, I am not an expert. I feel like it is quite underdone. Let's put it that way. And a lot of ground force troops. It's as if a third world war zone came to the United States. And yet it doesn't actually speculate on future weapons or even, I think, the kinds of military strategies we have today. So even that part of this movie, to me, makes no sense. As you can see, I'm really passionate about this because I love science fiction. I like good science fiction. Alex Garland has done really well. Ex Machina, I kind of liked Annihilation, but this movie comes along and it was hyped a lot. Here it is in my local theater, A24 spending a lot of money distributing it to these small town theaters, and yet it's not very good. So I'm going to give it 1 star. That's a warning. Now, I hope you liked it better than I did, but you tell me the redeeming value of this movie because I do not get it. All right, that's enough. Please subscribe to this channel for more content, including all the science fiction movies I love. Thank you very much. Have a great day.